What do you silently tolerate from a friend, family member, or so because you love them, and because they put up with your attitude? A friend likes to sit at my piano and bang out clusters of notes. Even though he doesn't play and can't read music. It's all angry discord. I just let him sit there and pound away until he gets it out of his system. I'll be there in 30 minutes. 30 years later. Edit. Dot. My best friend is the king of being 5 minutes away for approximately an hour. I have been driving him while he's telling a friend on the phone that we're 5 minutes away when we are obviously not. I don't understand what it achieves. When I text Miso a couple of questions and she only ever responds to the last one. I learn to ask questions one at a time. My mother always chews with her mouth open and clicks her tongue and licks her lips loudly when she's done. I can feel myself fuming inside when she does that. Oh god. So does my mom. She talks with her mouth full and chews gum at full volume. 2. It makes my skin crawl. My best friend's chronic lateness and general disorganization. Itch can't make a plan and stick to it for her life. But I love that little scatterbrain. She likes to come over and cook me dinner. Do you ask her to arrive to things an hour earlier? That's a dangerous strategy. Because if they find out I do and she knows I do it, it's just like communicating with someone in another time zone. Miso stress cleans. He'll get very angry at seemingly nothing and slam around the house while he cleans it thoroughly. I find it kind of scary and very stressful. But once he gets through it he's better and super happy. I put up with it because yes, I love him. And yes, he puts up with my stuff. And because it helps him cope with whatever is going on in his head. The only thing I bring up sometimes is that I would like him to see a therapist about it. I don't know why, but this is the most human thread I've read on here. I'm getting all these images of real people and the daily tolerance that is part of loving the whole person. Full stop. My 11-year-old boy's constant hamming and jabbering and poop fart but jokes. I listen and make hectometers. Oh. I see noises. He's a cleverer comedian than this. Expect he'll get back to more complex material around 13. In the meantime I'm happy he wants to talk to me and occasionally lets something important slip out between the endless prattle about YouTube gaming celebrities. So I've got another 5 years at least. My 6 years old is just like this. There are nuggets of hilarity and intelligence. But OMG. I do not want you to rub your butt on me. Or hear you fart. Or hear about Denny on YouTube. But I still get tons of hugs. So I guess it all works out. My husband's dirty clothes every damn where. He just drops them wherever and almost never makes an effort to put them into any laundry basket. We have 4 plus my son's 1. And if it was up to him, they'd lay where they fell until he needed to wear them again. His socks would become so gross they'd be able to stand up and walk alone. Like strange zombie socks from hell. My best friend is super flaky. And I normally really hate flaky people. I remember the first time she flaked out on me. Me and another friend made plans with her days ahead of time for her birthday lunch. When the day came, she didn't reply back 4 hours, and when she did she said, "Oh, I'm not really hungry. But I can go and you guys can eat." WTF. So we went without her and ate. I think we even had cake without her. We later found out through a Facebook tag that her cousin had already taken her out to lunch. Eventually I got used to it and I know when she's going to flake before it even happens, so I don't get my hopes up. But she's also the kind of friend that buys you Beyonce tickets when you can't afford it. Interrupting. My eldest sister is my best friend and I love her so much it's ridiculous. But she's a loud person who likes to hold court and always has to host even if it's not her event. Every time we have a conversation she keeps interrupting Emmy and it enrages me. I brought it up to her a while ago and we had a laugh about it, and I now call her out when she does it, but man is that shit annoying. Just let Emmy speak. My oldest brother is autistic and one of his things is good restrooms. So every place we go to has to have a great restroom. I'm not autistic but I fucking feel this. Am I allowed to make this a rule for myself? Mediocre restaurant with bad bathroom 3/10. Mediocre restaurant with a great bathroom 8/10. My so frequently misplacing things and then asking me where he put them. At first it was cute. Now it's annoying as hell. And the places he puts them. Who puts their phone in the freaking pantry and forgets about it? Ha. Me. I am this to my boyfriend. I like to think he doesn't mind it as much as you do. It stressed him out at first. Me always losing shit. But I think over the years he's come to see that it's just status quo for my life. When I lose things I don't freak out. I don't even always look for them. They turn up. For my wallet, keys, phone, and purse I have tiles. I guess on the other hand I learned quickly how it stressed him out and stopped telling him about everything I lost. Listening literally every day to every little thing that went wrong during her job. I love the girl but damn I don't go on an hour tirade about my work problems. I get venting and I do tell her about my day if something crazy or bad happens but not all the time. Her work stress is beginning to stress me out. Edit. Thank you for all the replies and advice on this. Gonna sit down with her and try to figure up a compromise. I don't mind listening but we need to limit it so it doesn't cause other problems. My father is always leaving his phone lying around somewhere. And guess who has to help him find it every time he loses it? Frankly, I put up with it because I was an Asperger child. And he's been dealing with my shit my whole life. My boyfriend yawns, sneezes and burps very loudly. It's ridiculous. And at first I thought he did it on purpose and as a joke. But when I giggled, he got so self-conscious about it I decided to just ignore it. The rambling conversations on the phone with my mom. When I call her telling her Waz says I'll be there in about 45 minutes. See you soon. I listen and talk. Thanks to modern technology allowing me to do so. Because I know that she'll be gone in years to come. My dad's impatient nature. I tell my mom that Waz said 45 minutes. Because I know he'll be pissed if it's a minute less than that. He's not an asshole by any means. Except when it comes to punctuality. Neither of them know that I called after driving for 10 minutes. And the 45-minute estimate was from the second I started driving. So, I've adapted to their witnesses. Because they put up with me. From baby to adult. And everything in between. And they both have less theoretical time than I do on this planet. My dad never became the teacher he was probably meant to be. And so his inner teacher comes out every time no one asked a question. Every explanation is like a fully planned lecture. He starts with an anecdote or a joke. Then gives an example. Then makes a long list of other examples to add further explanation. And then a conclusion. All while pacing and making hand gestures. But usually what he is explaining is very obvious already, like how a buffet works. Or how to go grocery shopping. Or how to go to the movies. Or how personalize a casserole. Or how to eat. I have a friend who touches me a lot. Not inappropriately at all. Just on the arms, back, shoulder, etc. He hugs me. And I think it's because no one really cares for him or gives him that physical affection. But if I make him feel better that's great because he's a sweet guy. I'd spoon with him if he asked as long as he kept his hands to himself lol. My boyfriend, he is so goddamn sweaty. But we've only been dating for 3 months and he has just started getting used to sleeping next to me. And I'll endure his clammy body if it means I get cuddled. His wife is a hunt. Like. Straight up. She's driven all his friends away. As many family members of his as she can. And he's either too in love or too much of a pussy to do anything about it. So I never see him. It's kind of risky getting in touch with him because she'll start complaining if she knows it's me or any of his other friends. And so I have to wait for the time she's out of town. Seriously. If we didn't have so much shared history together. If we didn't help each other out so often in the past. I'd drop him. But I know the situation isn't his fault. Yes. I've talked to him about the situation and her behavior. He won't do anything about it. It only made things between us more awkward. I don't know if I regret it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes not, because while our friendship got strained as a result, I feel like I'd be a bad friend if I didn't tell him the shit she says behind his back about him. Or how abusive the entire situation is. She's really cunning about it. To his other friends, she drove away by being a hunt to them and about them. But because our friendship was very close, she never attacked me. Instead, she undermined him in front of me. Sometimes behind his back. Sometimes in front of him. I'm pretty sure she was hoping I'd say something to him, so his ego would force him to make a choice between having to admit to himself how far he'd fallen, or keep me at a distance. Leaves. We have an oak tree over our house and my brother will not stop wearing his shoes in and dragging in oak leaves. I blow them off. I sweep or vacuum them up. The next morning there they are again. He's 6'5" and he doesn't see anything below our level, lol. It's whatever. I choose to be here. But the ducking leaves. Also, he's incapable of washing the lid to anything he uses. I happen to know I'm a pain in the ass though, so it's all good. When my husband practices his guitar, he plays the same god damned riff every single ducking time. It can be a bit annoying, but he loves his guitar, so I tolerate it because I love him. When people interrupt me, I'm a quiet and non-confrontational person, so people often ignore when I'm talking and talk over me. I tried to speak up about it, but I just gave up because my parents would give me shit about being disrespectful, but also because they still give me necessary things to live. My father doesn't find interactions easy, and sometimes when I go over to visit he can be particularly quiet. But he's the best. Has always been there for me. So I'm happy to let the silence sit or do most of the talking rather than press him on it. My husband tics. He has to touch me when he does it and he sounds like a growling dog, lol. I hate it, but I love him and wouldn't trade him for the world. My so sometimes chews with his mouth open, smacks when he eats. Before we started dating, I swore up and down that it would be a deal breaker for me because that noise makes me actually irrationally angry. I used to ask him to stop and it's cut down to almost never. When it happens now I just let it go. It doesn't bother me in the same way anymore. My buddy likes to criticize everything I do. I know it's out of love and in his mind it's harmless one-off comments. But I deal with anxiety sometimes and it really hurts. An old friend of mine had dealt with several years of anxiety depression. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the few that he really lets it out with. I've spent many days talking to him through the night, staying up well past the sun went up. The way we talk could seem strange to some people. We nearly exclusively use Facebook to chat, and he'll send me great walls of text sometimes before I respond with a short answer. He gets it though. I was never the most empathetic person, and could never really express in words my actual thoughts. I think on some levels he knows I need the conversation just as much as he does. Thanks, Eric. It's taken me a while, but my wife's mispronunciations, I never corrected her to be mean or humiliate her. I just wanted her to know the correct way so other people wouldn't think less of her. English is her first language, but all the different places she lived as a child, she picked up on some weird dialects and pronunciations that I just kind of ignore now.